Hello, today is Friday, August 7th, 2026. Here is your daily signal. According to Bloomberg, oil prices dropped for a third consecutive day as progress appeared to be made toward a U.S.-Iran-Oman deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, with a possible announcement expected later on Wednesday. The Strait of Hormuz, which channels over 20% of global oil, became a flashpoint after shipping ground to a near halt following the latest U.S.-Iran conflict earlier this year. International efforts, involving the UN, Oman, and the International Chamber of Commerce, are underway to broker reopening deals amidst ongoing military tensions. Previous blockages of the strait have caused spikes in both oil prices and freight rates. On August 5, 2026, Bloomberg confirmed the third day of declining oil prices tied to hopes for reopening, while, as Fortune outlined, confusion reigns over negotiations and the UN-backed plan led by the ICC, and the world's largest shipbroker has recorded record earnings due to this exceptional volatility. With over 20% of the world's oil shipments affected, the ongoing disruptions have also forced major oil companies and shipping insurers to redirect operations and raise risk premiums. If a deal is reached, short-term oil prices could stabilize or slide further as shipping lanes resume normal operation, but if talks fail, Asian and European oil importers will face supply headaches. Persistent uncertainty could benefit shipbrokers through sustained fees and accelerate investments in alternate export routes and strategic reserves. Next, on to the evolving dynamics of warfare in Ukraine. Business Insider reports that Ukrainian drones equipped with advanced target lock capabilities are now able to complete attacks even when Russian jamming cuts pilot links, a game-changer in the ongoing battlefield technology race. The Ukraine-Russia conflict, escalated since the 2022 invasion, has become a proving ground for military hardware, especially drones that now autonomously lock onto targets after operator contact is lost. Both sides rely heavily on reconnaissance and attack UAVs as well as electronic warfare. On August 4, 2026, it was reported that Russia, according to Ukraine's Navy, is now mainly deploying faster, jet-powered Shahed drones instead of older models, signaling a tactical evolution. Meanwhile, Fortune noted that Ukraine has incorporated business principles and KPIs into its military, aiming to maximize Russian casualties and economic pressures through more effective drone warfare. This ongoing technological one-upmanship could mean Ukraine conducts more successful strikes despite Russian jamming, potentially impacting front lines, while Russia's jet-driven drones may offer new offensive options but create fresh supply challenges. Over time, both militaries will likely see increased costs and casualties, and this trend is expected to push civilian and military technology partnerships, further accelerating innovation and changing military doctrine. Next, we examine the impact of CEO statements on market confidence, focusing on SpaceX. TechCrunch reports that during SpaceX's first earnings call on August 4, 2026, CEO Elon Musk frequently inflated his company's claims, repeatedly outdoing even the bold forecasts from CFO Brett Johnson and President Gwynne Shotwell. Elevated and sometimes exaggerated earnings call rhetoric from high-profile CEOs like Musk can significantly sway investor sentiment and trigger sharp moves in market performance. Musk, who has a history of headline-grabbing public promises, drew particular attention this time for claims that outstripped his own executive team, immediately prompting debate among investors and market watchers about the realism of SpaceX's roadmap versus the risk of overhype. As TechCrunch also highlighted, this approach may risk undermining confidence in the company's governance as regulatory institutions like the SEC monitor the accuracy and tangible impacts of such communications. In the near term, Musk's comments could spark volatile reactions among investors and put SpaceX under the regulatory and media microscope. Should these communication patterns persist, SpaceX might face skepticism from institutional investors and partners, potential increases in regulatory oversight, and longer-term challenges in securing financing and deals. Now, onto the markets. International markets advanced, led by solid gains in Japan, where the EWJ ETF jumped over 1.4% for the day. Europe also saw positive movement, with Germany and France up more than 0.5%, and Spain's EWP ETF rising about 0.4%. In Asia, China large-cap shares as tracked by FXI climbed over 0.6%, while Hong Kong and Singapore surged, with EWH and EWS gaining 1.2% and 2.1% respectively. Meanwhile, Indonesia showed notable strength with the IDX ETF up more than 2.1%. In commodities, gold prices surged as GLD rose 2% and silver's SLV ETF gained 2.2% on renewed investor demand. U.S. oil edged higher with the USO ETF finishing up about 0.4%. Major U.S. indices showed moderate gains, with the S&P 500 SPY ETF increasing by 0.47% led by technology and clean energy sectors. In corporate news, Yunji Inc. YJ soared over 235%, making it the day's top gainer, while ICE Warrant Lidwa plummeted 88%, putting it at the bottom of the leaderboard. Other notable movers include Atlassian Team up 33% and Paramount Global Para sliding 84%. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.